Hello and welcome to Meet Your Double Feature, a double-blind movie review podcast. My name is Thomas, joined as always by my brother Frank. Frank, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great, man. I'm very excited. We have some very special guests on today's episode. It's going to be fun.
We do. Let's go right ahead and introduce our two guests, Jeff and Tristan from the Hard Ticket podcast. Folks might know them because we appeared on your show previously, but guys, thank you for coming and appearing now on Meet Your Double Feature. Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We had you on back in I think it was February or March for the Towering Inferno versus the Poseidon Adventure, which was a great foray into the 70s. Tristan, say hi.
Hi. Yeah, it was like you're saying, a great foray. It was like a 6-hour double feature.
It was quite long.
We had a great discussion about when men used to be men. I remember that.
That's true. There's a lot about how to be a man.
Yeah.
It wasn't toxic at all. We don't like to talk about it. Anyway, thankfully, today, guys, we have you back for possibly an even stupider double feature to cover. We are in the middle of our ongoing season about forgotten movie sequels. Frank and I kicked that off last time, talking about a sequel to Wizard of Oz and a sequel to Lawrence of Arabia. But have you heard of a sequel to American Psycho, ? Or a sequel to Donnie Darko, ? That's what we're getting into today. Before we get too far into the weeds, though, Jeff, Tristan, I want to give you guys a chance to explain a bit about your podcast. It is much like ours. It's a double feature program, but with a different take. So, Jeff, why don't you take it away? Let the people at home know what they can expect.
Yeah, so our podcasts are sort of connected. They're soulmate podcasts in a way. We even started around the same time in 2025, but we do the double feature premise. We talk about two movies that have some sort of connection, be it like thematic or like they have some, like they're tied together in movie history, or we discover things that are similar about them that people might not realize. So we started off doing an episode, Pulp Fiction versus Fight Club, got into those similarities. If you're listening the day that this episode drops, we actually have an episode coming out tomorrow on Ice Princess and I, Tonya, which was a lot of fun. So, the premise is simple. You go to the movies expecting a double feature, and you find out both movies are playing at the same time, so you have to choose one. That's the hard ticket at the center of our show. You got to make a choice at the end. So
you got to pick between them. I do think that there's a lot of movie podcasts out there, and there's other ones that I like, but Hard Ticket is probably the best complement to this show because we have the similar kind of spirit behind it, but we tackle conversations in different ways, and we have like zero overlap in the movies we talk about because Frank and I are always hitting on this like weird, obscure stuff and kind of giving first impressions, acting like the audience for the podcast maybe hasn't even seen them, whereas Hard Ticket often is like things you maybe know, and then trying to dig a bit deeper on like thematic level conversations and stuff. So again, anybody who's a fan of Meet Your Double Feature, please go listen to Hard Ticket. Links are in the description. We'll give you all those social plugs again at the end as well. But yeah, just really happy to have you guys on, and less happy to get into a conversation about American Psycho 2. So I don't know. I guess Jeff and Frank, we're going to let you guys, we're going to do like mixed teams here. We're going to let you guys sort of take lead on walking us through American Psycho 2. Which, if anybody's wondering, was technically Tristan's pick. He tossed it out into the ether, and I decided that was his idea.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Target on my back now.
Don't worry, I technically picked the other one. But anyway, we'll get started here with American Psycho 2. I don't know who wants to jump off, but what is it?
Oh boy, Frank, this is half your show. I think it's only fitting you should introduce this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just right off the bat. I'll just say what we're all thinking. This is like the Citizen Kane of movie sequels. This is what everyone was asking for. This is what everybody wanted. It improves on the original in every conceivable way. Which I'm sure you guys all agree. This is.
You ever heard of The Godfather Part 2?
Yes. Exactly. That's garbage compared to Mila Kunis's American Psycho 2, which you mentioned at the beginning, Thomas, that somebody may have never heard of this. I knew there was a sequel to Donnie Darko. I did not know there was an American Psycho 2. that just, if you've seen the original film, which I have, seems like one of the worst movies to attempt to make a sequel to. And from what I understand, this film was not originally going to be a sequel to American Psycho. It started under a completely different name for the film. And then I believe partway through production, they just started adding elements to make it more aligned with that first American Psycho movie. Was that a good idea?
It's so weird. Yeah, because American Psycho was controversial when it came out, and like I'm surprised a movie even wanted, like they thought that was going to get that bag, you know, by putting American Psycho in the title of it. Like, I don't know.
American Psycho, in what way was it controversial? I mean, I know it was a very like violent kind of like anti-capitalist, capitalist-focused film, but was that? I guess I'm not as familiar with that. Maybe you can.
Well, the people wrote it off at the beginning. I think a lot of people missed the satire. Like they thought it was like just a boring kind of faux philosophical slasher movie without a lot of cool action in it. And there's still a lot of people who miss the satire inherent within American Psycho, but it did undergo sort of a reevaluation after it came out. Critics, I think they liked it, but they also like honed in on the hyperviolence in a way that kind of missed the point. But American Psycho 2 comes out before even that reevaluation, I think. And I think it was
a good point.
I think it was called The Girl Who Wouldn't Die was the original screenplay for this film. And Tristan and I actually watched American Psycho 2 together, and we have a theory that like Mila Kunis, she does a voiceover in this movie. We have a theory that was like they had filmed it already and they just had to throw it in, like, and because the pacing's weird, sometimes it kind of feels like she's rushing to get her words in to a scene. It's definitely, it doesn't work.
I was thinking about that voiceover from like, because it's constant throughout the film, and I was just like, I'm so glad Mila Kunis is here to explain the movie to us instead of me having to watch it, because it just never ends. It's like she's trying to do this like I don't even know, this like first person perspective on everything, but it kind of has this like almost like detective noir vibe, but like a campy, almost like definitely like purposefully satirical vibe to it. But I was just like, are we just gonna do this the whole time? And they kind of did. It like continued throughout almost the entire film. I almost feel like they got to the end of production, were in post, and made a lot of decisions after the fact. Because I was also noticing like the score was throwing me this, not just like the score and the music choices. Like the music choices made it feel like Legally Blonde was we were going for.
It feels like a weird like a Danny Elfman knockoff kind of thing a little bit. Like it's got the strings do 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 do. Like it's very strange.
It's kind of whimsical in that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
It has a whimsy to it.
Yeah.
Which it was so odd, because I feel like it didn't work, because it didn't seem like the scenes were filmed that way. It seems like they just put this like zany score on top of them, and we're like, look, isn't this funny? And it's like, no, this isn't. No, no, it isn't.
No, it's like a placeholder.
Yeah. It seemed like it almost looks like the in post they looked at what they had and were like, this sucks. We need to change this. We need to try, and it seemed like an attempt to change the entire tone of the movie after the fact, after it had been filmed.
I'm so curious how this movie would play if you took out the VO and you took out the soundtrack. You know when you have like scenes from sitcoms with laugh tracks, but people remove the laugh track and it's just like really uncomfortable? Like, that kind of like that would be a more interesting movie than this movie, because everything about this movie is just it doesn't work, but it feels so cookie cutter in a strange. It's like the uncanny valley of movies. I don't know. Very
It's like a
strange.
TV movie too, right? Like it
Yeah.
almost feels like a Lifetime original or something. I wrote in my notes, it's this is a brain rot term. It's Yossified American Psycho. Do you guys know?
Justified.
You guys know what that means?
Do I know the
Pretty
term?
much.
Yes, my brain has been rotted.
Because it opens with Mila Kunis as like a little girl, and she actually murders Patrick Bateman, which is like the only connection this film actually does have to American Psycho.
Yeah, she murders him in the opening, which is
Yes,
Which I
Which
weirdly liked.
they
that.
filmed like after everything else was done.
definitely
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that felt like an addition, but from the beginning, I'm like, well, that's kind of fun. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's just kill this because, like, at this point, kind of like you were saying, Jeff, like that character has kind of become iconic in a way.
yeah.
Like, especially through memes. I've seen so many American Psycho
Oh, yeah.
memes. And they're all great. And I feel like that's kind of given the movie like a new life with like a younger generation too. And so I just thought it was so funny. And especially the way that it's shot too, which actually came up for me with something later in the movie because they shoot that scene in a way where you don't see Patrick Bateman's face. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's obviously because they didn't get Christian Bale for this movie. But then later there's a scene where it's like a different kind of flashback, which they also must have filmed after the fact. And someone is holding a photo of Patrick Bateman and it's just a different actor. And I'm like, why did you go through the trouble of filming the initial scene that way? And then you show us the face of this other person. Like you could have just not done that. And your little like
Yeah.
trick
They
would have
show
worked.
like a screen grab from the original American Psycho
Anything,
or
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Get Christian Bale's headshot and put it on there. Like, why did they
Also,
undercut themselves?
my other concern about that open, or not concern, but question about the opening is in the original American Psycho, isn't it left ambiguous whether Patrick Bateman actually killed anyone?
Oh yeah.
Because
That's
he
what I
goes through
thought
the
as
whole
well.
movie having all these violent fantasies, and by the time that story's over, he has this like confession on the phone thing, which is almost like a send up to like the end of Double Indemnity or something, where he's like confessing all his crimes to somebody in a
Yeah.
recording, and then they're like, "Oh, that was funny. That was like a funny bit," and you find out that his first victim is still alive. Like the first person you see him murder in that movie is Jared Leto, which good for him. But
Good call, honestly.
Good call, honestly. Yeah, I thought that was great. Very method. But then we find out that that man's still alive, and it throws into question whether any of this actually happened or if he's just like a super deranged man in his head. And American Psycho 2 immediately is just like, yeah, you remember a serial killer movie. And it's like, did you even see the end of the other movie?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's like one of the reasons why a sequel to American Psycho is just a bad idea to begin with, because it deflates all the ambiguity that makes it interesting, and Patrick Bateman becomes literally just another serial killer. Like the narration Mila Kunis says when the movie opens up, she's like, "Some babysitters take you to the movies. Mine took me on a date with a serial killer, Patrick Bateman. Ever heard of him?" And all she does is like she's tied up to a chair. She just wriggles free of her tape and picks up a knife and kills Patrick Bateman, which is like, okay, yeah. What if you ended the original American Psycho with just a random little girl killing Patrick Bateman? Like, that's a bit of an anticlimax, but hey, now we understand that this girl, she's not like the other girls. It's what you're saying, Tristan. She's yassified. She's like, the story of James Cameron coming in to the Fox pitch room and writing Alien and then a $sign for the S. This is American Psycho, but yassified, like at the top. And it's written by Morgan Freeman, because Morgan Freeman actually directed this movie.
I did see that. It was Morgan J. Freeman made the
Morgan
movie.
J. Freeman.
I know. I was so excited at first. I was like, oh, okay, great. Morgan Freeman, his directorial debut. But then it's just some...
Do you think it'd be better if he was the one narrating all of Mila Kunis'
I was about to say
dialogue? If he was just like, "There I am, I've killed Brian," but it was still her in all the scenes.
Some babysitters, they take you to the movies. It's like,
either get busy killing or you get busy dying.
again, that would be interesting. But no, we get Mila Kunis' VO over the whole movie, like you're saying, Frank, and I can't not hear Meg Griffin the entire time when I'm watching this movie. It's the whole time. Shut up, Meg. But it's like, so we cut to her in college now. So she's college age. She's in a behavioral studies program, and everybody in this program is gunning for the FBI. Very ironic, given the fact that she's a serial killer. But we don't know yet what has become of this girl.
Yes, she has killed already at this point, but the movie hasn't told us that part yet. Which, I mean, again, the Citizen Kane of, of movie sequels. They thought of everything.
Yeah. You got to keep the suspense there until you decide to just reveal it at 20 minutes into the movie anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yes, of course. But it does get it. Like, that is the movie. Her intentions are very clear, but at the same time, like, not really. I'm like, I don't really understand why she's so intent on getting into the FBI, like why that's so important to her. She doesn't have much, despite being on screen for like 98% of the movie. She doesn't have much of a character.
No.
She's just kind of constantly talking to us and telling us what she's doing, like it's her personal diary or something. But I'm just like, I still don't really understand. You've told me a bunch of times that you want to get into the FBI and it's really important to you, but why?
Yeah,
it's just the rat race, like it's a holdover from the first one. Like it's the cutthroat world of Wall Street in American Psycho 1, and then it translates over into the cutthroat world of undergrad academia, I guess.
So the professor, the main professor, he was like, I used to work for the FBI. I actually was working on the Patrick Bateman case, only case I never cracked. He's played by William Shatner. And the rat race is that everybody wants to be William Shatner's TA, because that is going to be your way into the FBI. Now, if you got to do certain things for him in that position, then that's only, like, everybody is like, I got to sleep with the professor, and that'll get me a job at the FBI. And William Shatner's like, one at a time, ladies. Like, he's just eating it up the whole time.
He does. He does.
Yeah, that's what he does. He eats it up. He's but that's an interesting contrast. What you're saying, Tristan, like the rat race of Wall Street versus college, like academia, PhD programs, they could be really competitive, but it doesn't translate in this film because it's just everybody wants to be Shatner's TA.
Yeah, not to a TA position. If it were like she's trying to get into Harvard or something and she had to kill off like the competition or get like a scholarship, I feel like that would be a little more compelling.
Yeah, because we don't really know that much about the other characters either. There's like some core characters that she's in competition with, and these are the people she winds up killing throughout the movie. But we also don't really know much about them. They're all very like one note, and so it's like you don't even really care.
Yeah,
when they die.
It's like the complexity of their motivations matches the complexity of their performances, because like Mila Kunis she's like an extra in Mean Girls. Her whole, I describe her performance as like a hair flip that sums up the whole thing. Like that's all you need to know. That's what she's doing.
Like I said, the vibes felt very like Legally Blonde for like her specifically, but then the rest of the movie kind of seemed like it was trying to like do, I guess, like what the Scream movies do, where it's like it's a horror movie, but we're kind of like leaning into that satirical element, and it's like kind of goofy. But as somebody who just recently started watching the Scream movies, I'd never seen those before. Those are actually great. And I'm like, if that's what you were trying to do, you failed miserably, because those movies are awesome. And this completely misses that mark, unfortunately.
I was going to say that it felt like I kept waiting for like the main characters from like TV's Psych to show up in the middle of this movie, because the way everything was lit felt very like mid-2000s USA Network crime procedural. But it was as if like the main characters of that were missing. I was like, we need like the Mentalist to show up, or just anybody to like actually be the main character of the story. And it just never did. It was just all like the flashbacks of the murders, and then nobody fixed it.
Nobody. Yeah. Well, I guess it's worth pointing out both of these movies actually had very low production budgets. I think they were both like under 10 million, which is a lot of money, but for like a production of this scale is not. That's like very micro budget for a movie like this, or I guess for a movie with this tight, like what you would expect from an American Psycho 2, which was a big studio film. This had like no money at all.
I'm guessing a majority of that went to Shatner's salary. Probably they had him for like a couple days, and then because his role is kind of in a void for a lot of it, and then for the rest of it, we're just kind of following Mila Kunis. So yeah, I can understand more so where the budget went for Darko, but this movie is like a TV movie. It's like a commercial. There's nothing. There's just nothing.
Well, I mean, with Darko, that is a good point, because Darko doesn't really have like a big name attached to it.
Right.
But I think you're exactly right with this movie, especially that it started as a different production. It wasn't going to be American Psycho 2. I'm sure, because that's like a low budget indie filmmaking type thing, is like, oh, if you can get a star attached to your movie, then it's easier for us to sell. So I'm sure when they had it under that other working title, they're like, oh, we got William Shatner. That's how we're going to sell this movie. He's our name attached to it. And because I don't know, 2009, Mila Kunis probably still would have been best known for that 70s show. Maybe
it was 2003.
2003, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Darko was 09.
09, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Then I mean, she was still very young when they were making this movie, because she was like 17 when they started filming, or when she first started working on that 70s show.
Yeah, she definitely feels young. They play up the youth. Like, I was watching and I was like, damn, she's like a baby in this, and it goes into her voiceover work too. It's like, one, she's not selling it, because they were probably like, okay, you got to match the time. You got to be done with this line by the end of this scene, because we already shot it. We don't have any coverage or anything. So, but yeah, it's not. She can't. I mean, she's not given much to work with here in her defense.
She also, from what I read, like after I don't know how long after the movie came out she said this, but she was very unhappy with the movie vocally. She was like, that was not what I signed up for. It turned into a different thing, which I'm like, man, just own up to it. Just
just be like, I gave it my all. I gave it everything.
She got to work with Shatner, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Captain Kirk. Just like, because I'm sure if this caught on as like a campy kind of cult classic movie, then she would have been like, nah, you know what, it's great. I had so much fun working on American Psycho 2, but she was like, nah, that movie was crap.
It almost has, like, if you're going with the campy vibes, it almost has like that Jennifer's Body kind of feel to it, like that dark comedy, social satire thing, but it just does not land it at all. Like, it's just a big wet fart, basically.
It didn't even have the great Panic at the Disco song that movie had. It just had
it just had William Shatner.
It did have pop music. It had very interesting choices for the pop music that, again, I feel like it was mostly in the first half, but it felt like every scene was just like, let's just put a song on top of this. Let's just like keep this moving. This is terrible. Let's just fill the room with noise.
If I can't have a good movie, I'll have a good soundtrack, damn it. Like, that's what I'll do.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd call it a good soundtrack. They had a soundtrack,
no. They didn't even achieve that.
It was a type of soundtrack. It was the like indie rock vibes. A lot of like stuff where the lyrics of the song had to just match what was happening. Like, it was like, do we have a song where they're like, I'm a murderer? And they're like, okay, cool, throw that in. Like, it was just, it needed to be as literal as possible.
They did, right? They had some music.
Angry Angel was one of them. It was like, I have an angry angel because I'm being a bad person. I was like, cool.
There's like, I actually Shazammed one of the, like, part of the score, not even like the soundtrack, but part of the score, when like the strings and everything were going off, like the doot doot. And it came up with a song called Stalking Keith, which was when she was stalking Keith in the movie. So that also told me the character's name, which was great. I might have just missed that when I was watching it, but
yes. So even the composer was like, I'm not even going to put any more creative effort into naming this
They
song.
all sound
this
the same.
Is just literally what's happening. We'll just
Stalking Keith sounds like the motif that plays anytime she talks to her therapist, which is actually 2 parts. You can find this whole thing on Spotify, by the way. Look up the American Psycho 2 soundtrack, and
links in the description.
Wait, I might actually do this just out of curiosity.
You should.
Yeah, I like that.
So I wrote down notes for the entire plot. I've got them in front of me. I can walk us through through the plot if we
Sure.
feel
Please
like we
do.
need
I
to
think
do that.
I think I need that actually because
Okay. All right. Chime in if you remember any of these
Yeah.
scenes. Okay. So Shatner's having an affair with one of his students. We find that out at the beginning. Mila Kunis wants to be a TA, but freshmen can't be TAs. The secretary who denies her that position just so happens to get murdered, lured into the murder location by her cat being put in the microwave. You guys remember that?
I do remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Also, this is already a better narration than the movie did. You're
Also-
selling it better than Mila Kunis.
That cat story is a real thing, apparently. I was watching this with my wife, and she said there was some like urban legend story about someone who tried to put their cat in a microwave to dry it off and
Oh,
accidentally
no.
killed their cat. And it was given as an example in other countries about why American appliances have so many like obvious warnings on them. Like in other places, she was comparing it to like Japan because she lived there for a while. If you grab a microwave, it doesn't say like don't stick your head in the microwave, but in America,
Yes.
it does because there's always one person.
I've always heard that if you see a sign for something, that means somebody's already done it because that's why they had to put the sign there. So any ridiculous sign you see, just know somebody's done that thing already. That scene though was upsetting. I had to wait. I was looking in the credits where I was like, because it just looked so believable. Actually, in the moment, I was
Yeah.
like, "Did they actually put a cat in the microwave for this movie?" Because I had to wait until the end. I was like, "Where's the Animal Humane Society thing that
Oh.
says they didn't
A
hurt
message
any
that
animals
says, yeah, no
during
cats
this
were
movie?"
harmed.
I had to make sure that was in there, or else I was like, because it really looked like they put a cat in a microwave, and I was like, "Don't do that.
They might have.
Don't do that. Not for American Psycho 2."
Not for this
Not
movie.
worth it.
No,
Yeah.
not for this movie. It's like getting naked for your film. Like not for
Yeah.
this.
Not
Don't
for
do it
this
for
one.
this.
Yeah.
Thankfully, nobody did for this one.
Don't abuse animals for this movie. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm against all animal abuse.
Anyway,
Uh,
sorry, that was my interjection about the cat. But Jeff, please let's
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
go
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
okay.
plot thing. I
Yeah.
like this.
I just want to note that when the secretary is murdered, we do not see the face of the killer. So it could be anybody.
Could be anybody.
This is true.
Uh,
But she
yes.
is killed with the wall plaque that Mila Kunis was looking at in the
That's
scene.
true.
Because this
Right.
is cinema. That's how you make movies, man. They
They
knew
planted
what they were
that.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right after this scene, Mila Kunis, and I'm just reading the names that I gave these characters while I was taking notes. I
Oh yeah.
forgot. Her character name changes throughout this movie anyway. So Mila Kunis gets asked on a date by Brian, who's also up for the TA position, and so is the girl that Shatner's having an affair with. But Brian says if Shatner's boo gets it, he'll leak some revealing photographs. Brian also bribes Mila Kunis to stop pursuing the TA position in exchange for a portion of his family fortune. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was like $7 million, right?
He said 7 figures, which would be tens of millions, right?
Oh my god.
which is like,
Yeah.
why do you want anything? Why do you want anything in the world? You're set, dude.
Yeah. Well, and in that scene, she seemingly agrees too, which I was like, this is a great decision. We can just end the movie here. She's
Yeah.
done. She can just retire now. She doesn't. This is what I mean, though. Why does she want this so bad? I get that she's supposed to be a crazy person, for lack of a better term. She's just insane. But
Yeah.
but she
don't-
did in that scene. Seemingly, she was like, sure, yeah, I'll take that money. What's for dinner? Let's carry
Yeah,
on.
It's more like a prequel to Dexter than it is like a sequel to American
Mhm.
Psycho,
Yeah.
I guess. Like she understands the mind of serial killers because she is one. Or that's what Dexter's about, right? I haven't actually watched it.
I haven't seen it either. None of
Pretty
us
sure.
have seen Dexter, I don't think, unless Tristan has.
No, I've seen Dexter's Laboratory, but
I'd
Oh
say
yeah,
on
yeah,
Dexter.
yeah. Same thing.
Should
Yeah.
we just talk about that instead? I like that show.
Yeah. So she basically goes for it. She's like, Brian, I'm in. I'll take some of that money. In fact, you look kind of hot right now. So they go back to his dorm to hook up, but Brian doesn't have any condoms. So he's like, I'm gonna go.
They have those everywhere, at a college.
Yeah,
There's
the
those
condom
little bowls
caravan
for
and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, this shouldn't be a problem.
Ask your RA. Seriously.
This is the one instance of bad writing in this movie. It was right there, but I'll forgive it.
So so he runs out, or she
She
leaves.
runs out.
She runs out. Yeah.
Because it's her dorm, actually. Because Brian notices that she has a tarp under the bed, which the audience knows, presumably, is because she's a murderer. But he has some weird line of dialogue where his first thought is that she wets the bed. He's just like, pea sheet, and then moves on. And I was like, that's a weird thing to just like declare out loud.
He had other priorities. He was just like, whatever.
He's like thinking, it's like a Jimmy Neutron moment where he's thinking about it really hard, and he goes into his brain, and he's like, pea sheet, like I figured it out, eureka. It's like that's probably what happened.
And then he dies immediately afterwards, so we don't have time for his follow-up.
We got to talk about how he dies, though. She comes back wearing the same hoodie that we saw in the previous murder scene, and she strangles him to death with a condom, which I'm like,
brilliant.
I mean, I was like, would that work? Did they test this?
That durable? It's like a tie-in.
True.
Durex is like, you can have her kill him with one of our condoms just to show how durable they are. Like, that's okay.
You're so right. You should have been a producer on this movie, Jeff. That would have been great. She should have
doubled the budget.
Yes, seriously. She could have just showed the logo to camera real quick and then just like choked him with it.
Right.
So I was like, that's an interesting. That's where I was like, okay, they're trying to get into like the Scream territory where it's like, let's have like a fun kill. You know, I don't think any of the other kills are fun. They tried with the first one, and I was like, okay, that's really dumb, but it's kind of funny. So yeah, let's go for it.
She does get a decent kill on William Shatner. I know this is jumping ahead a little bit, but as people could probably assume, she kills other people, and it doesn't lead to anything. No one investigates all these dead people in the same classroom. But when she gets to the point where she confronts and kills William Shatner, I would go as far as to say she didn't even kill him. She like stun locked him out a window. It was like the weirdest interaction where she reveals all these things about his past, and we keep cutting to shots, and every single cut is matched up to this sound effect that they play over and over again. That's kind of just this like whoosh. So we get like 15 whooshes, and Shatner's selling it like he's getting, like punched in the corner by a boxer, and he's like, no. And then after a while, he's so sad, he just falls out a window. Like, she doesn't like tip him over. She just like blows a kiss at him and he dies. And I'm like, honestly, Mila, that's not even on you. That's his fault.
Emotional damage. She was just dealing emotional damage until his HP dropped to 0.
It's blocked in such a weird way. It really does look. He just falls. Like he legitimately just falls out of the window.
She opened the window, so I guess she's negligible behavior, but not a murder. That would be tried differently, I think.
I think Shatner just didn't want to be in the movie anymore. He was just like...
I wrote in my notes, and Jeff and I drank a little bit when we watched this movie. I wrote, William Shatter just fell out of the movie. So,
that's great.
That's what he does.
Way out. Emergency exit. Yeah.
Yeah.
He does stick around as a corpse, though. He shows up in multiple other scenes, and it appears to actually be him, which I was surprised by.
Yeah, well, they were just like, well, he can just show up and like literally take a nap today. Like, well, we'll just put you in some makeup and you can just sleep on set.
They actually had to write around him napping on set. They were like, well, we can't do anything. All we can do is like roll camera because we got him for 3 days. So
yeah, he's narcoleptic. Move on.
Yeah. So okay. She kills Brian. She strangles him, and then it's revealed that it's her. So any mystery about whether or not she was doing it is just, we're getting rid of that. About 15, 20 minutes in. That's gone. So the next scene, she meets with the therapist. She talks to him, and right afterwards, he phones William Shatner, and he's like, there's a scary student who's gunning for your TA position. So just be on the I can't say who it is, because I'm a therapist. I shouldn't even be telling you this, but she's scary.
I can tell you exactly the wrong amount of information so that you make the wrong assumption in the middle of the movie, but no more, no less.
Yeah, it's just what the plot requires, basically, of course.
Yep.
He could have been, like you were saying, Thomas, he could have been your main character. He could have been your mentalist, like the therapist who like talks to serial killers and tries to figure out their crimes or something. I was like, there was something they had like a morsel of an idea here that like he was going to be the one trying to figure things out, but his character just makes odd decisions and makes weird leaps of logic throughout the whole movie and gets his friend killed. Really, it was kind of his fault in an abstract way.
He also refuses to leave his office for like the first hour and a half of the movie. Like, I thought that guy was never leaving that room. He makes phone calls to people who clearly aren't on the other end of the line, and he sits in his office. And I was like, this is it. He's on like a more relaxed schedule than Shatner. But then in the last like 15 minutes, he starts moving because I guess he is kind of the main character by that point. It's
because that would have meant more locations, and they had $10 million and 9.9 million went to Shatner, and so they had about $10 left to film the rest of the movie with.
He's like legitimately the closest thing to a protagonist by the end of the movie. He's like the third most important character. He could have been like your Willem Dafoe detective, like from the first one, or you can do like a thing where you don't know if Mila Kunis is talking to anybody at all because nobody else ever interacts. I'm like, there's a million ways to make it interesting. It's just not.
Mm-hmm. I do wonder if the movie, when it had a different title, because I don't even know what that original title, like how that pertains to the story of this film. So I do wonder if in changing it to be an American Psycho sequel, they like abandoned other plot points they maybe had at some point.
Yeah.
Because like nothing goes anywhere. There's just so many like dead ends throughout. It's just like such a start and stop thing of her just killing people. And so I'm like, did they have an idea here? At some point, did a screenwriter or some like process in production where they're telling a different story? But I don't know.
Could be.
It's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll never know. Never know. The screenwriter fell out a window. He took too much emotional damage.
They asked him for one too many rewrites, and he got stun locked, and he just fell down.
He's just like, I'm out.
He's like, write what you know. I've got to do it in order to get it into the movie. Oh my god. Yeah. Let me see here. I'm just gonna.
Tell us what they did do though, because I think this is like the halfway point in the film.
I think we're about at the halfway point. Yeah. So Kunis confronts the girl that Shatner's having an affair with at some social event, and she's like, I'm a lock for the TA position. And Shatner's wife's just going to think that she's working with me. So you can kiss that hope goodbye. And then Mila Kunis hangs her like off screen, but you see her body.
That was an interesting one too, because I was like, how'd she do that? How did she hang another person?
Dude, she has superhuman strength in this movie. Again, I'm sorry, I keep jumping further ahead. She kills a janitor by impaling him through the head with a dull mop. And we move on. There's just a dead janitor in a dumpster with a mop through his head. And I was like, all right, Mila Kunis has Hulk powers? Like, what is this?
She also, this is jumping ahead to another murder, but she just stabs the other guy with like a pencil, I want to say, or some like ice pick or something.
Oh, it's the ice pick that she killed Patrick Bateman with. She takes that at the beginning and then holds onto it her entire life.
That's
and
her
then kills a
weapon.
Person she's never met before and just leaves it with him.
Right. Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah.
We'll
get to that kill, but
yeah.
the hanging the other girl, it just, I mean, walk me through. How does that work? How do you hang another person without them like fighting back? Was she that person was she unconscious or something? It just doesn't make sense. How did she get her up there to make it look like she hanged herself?
She should have hanged her with a condom, like an extra stretchy latex condom.
If Durex had sponsored this film, every scene she could have killed somebody with a condom.
She's like bungee. She's like bouncing. Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, she could have filled one with water and then frozen it, and then she had a condom ice pick weapon.
That's her signature. She only kills with condoms, actually. It's a killer condom prequel.
The condom killer. She's like, better use protection or something. We'll workshop it. We'll figure out the script later. But this is a good idea.
So many cool ideas that could have been done, but
weren't.
None of them.
No.
So, okay. There's scenes here that don't have any reason to happen. Like she barges in on her therapist without an appointment. She's like, my life's very similar to Ted Bundy. or no, Ed Gein. Ed Gein is what she says. And then in a lecture, she gets into an argument with this other student, Keith, who she later stalks, about Ted Bundy. She's like,
But how do
Bundy...
we know she's stalking Keith?
Yeah.
Tell us, Jeff.
Have your Shazam app out and ready.
Yeah.
I don't even remember, like, they're talking about, like, he's defending Ted Bundy, right? He's like, Bundy was actually a genius. And she's like, well, he was a great killer, but he got too cocky, and this is where he messed up. And they end on a disagreement, so she stalks him and kills him in the library. This is how she handles her problems. In public.
The emptiest library. She pauses for a long time deliberating whether or not she's going to kill this person, just standing behind him with her ice pick weapon ready to go.
Right. Because
nobody sees this. Nobody finds him there.
He's like reading a book she likes, right? Or something like that. She's like, oh.
He's drawing. He's drawing.
Oh, okay.
I want to say, I don't even know exactly what it was. Like deaths. It reminded me of that scene from Superbad where Jonah Hill's just like drawing penises, and he can't stop drawing penises.
He's drawing condoms in his notebook, and she's just like, wow, he's just like me.
Exactly. No, he's just like me for real. My fellow condom killer.
She rips out the drawing of the condom and stuffs it down his throat and chokes him.
There you
go. That would be cool. How does she kill Keith? She just stabs him, right? I think she just stabs him.
She stabs him in the head with a knife, which actually is not her ice pick, because she still has that in her inventory for later.
I thought he was who she killed with. Who did she kill with the ice pick?
She kills a security guard with the ice pick.
Oh, I don't even remember that. I might have been on my phone for that part of the movie.
This is not second screen entertainment, Frank.
Yeah.
You have to pay attention.
This wasn't even like third screen entertainment. This was like you have to knock it down a few screens, be doing multiple other things before you watch this one.
Yeah. So we did, Jeff. You hit all the murders of the other TA contenders, and then Shatner's after that, right? I don't think there's anything in between.
So Shatner finds the body of his boo because he's going to visit her and finds her hanged. So it was like something left there for him to find.
There was a note. She left a note on her making it appear it was a suicide, which is what confuses me about how she achieved that. But like you said, Thomas, I guess nobody's investigating these murders. No one's looking into it at all.
The TV show lead character is missing. Like, where's like Columbo or Monk? Like, we need somebody.
It's the therapist guy. He can't leave his office.
He's on house arrest at work.
Yeah. He's like, oh, darn, I wish I could investigate this, but I can't leave here. I just got to call nobody.
Yeah, the therapist actually in his office gets a call from Shatner, who admits that he was having an affair. He's like, what about your wife? And he's like, I know. Come on.
Oh, darn.
Don't be uncool about it, yeah.
Dude, my mistress just died. Like, cut me some slack. I'm in grieving right now. So Shatner, he goes on sabbatical. His TA takes over, and Mila Kunis visits him in his office in a sexy dress, wearing the necklace that he gave his TA that she, like, took off of her body when she killed her. Mm-hmm. And he sees it, and he was like, it was you. You're the scary student that the therapist told me about, aren't you?
Then he says Rosebud, and then he falls down.
Yeah, the way I phrased it was he goes out the window. Because was he pushed? Did he jump? I don't know, but he went out of it. Yeah,
it's like that meme format where like somebody is pitching an idea at a board meeting, and then it's them in the next panel. They're just thrown out the window.
Yeah.
You need to go classic, do like the shooting stars meme where Shatner's like falling, but then he ends up in space, and
yeah,
that's what we need. That's what this movie's missing. But she takes his body, puts it in the car. The security guard stops them, but she murders him. That's the ice pick murder.
That's
right?
the ice pick. Yep, it's off screen again because the movie doesn't even have budget for violence.
No squibs or anything like that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so the therapist calls Shatner to check on him, but he doesn't answer. And then Mila Kunis' parents show up, which is like, uh-oh, she's on a murder spree. Like, don't cramp her style, I guess.
That whole scene where they're at like dinner, it felt again like a sitcom. like one of those scenes where it's like, oh, I got 2 dates and I gotta go back and forth between them. But
right, because this is the scene where a therapist actually leaves his office and he's at dinner and he sees her with her parents.
Yes,
and it's like a situational comedy, if you will. And I'm sure, I don't remember, I didn't Shazam whatever the score is doing at this point, but I'm sure it's something wacky.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's also dialogue. There's dialogue in that sequence where the psychiatrist is there with his wife, or not his wife, his mom, and they're sitting there, and there's this extended part of that scene where he's like, do you want to sit by the window? And he goes, I'll ask someone if we can sit by the window. And then he flags down a server and he goes, can I sit by the window? And he goes, no. And then the scene just progresses after that. And I was like, were we like 30 minutes, like 30 seconds short of being feature length in this movie? And we just needed to like have for time?
Fill time. Just fill the air with something.
Was this supposed to be like a Dorsia reference from the first one, where it's like you want to be at a particular restaurant? Maybe that was like his version of Dorsia. Like the window was
the
like
one restaurant on campus, like the mess hall or something like that.
That's true. Patrick Bateman's always obsessed with his reservations, even though he like doesn't eat food or go. So yeah, that's the most accommodating explanation I can think of.
That's the most generous I can be with that.
It was so odd. Everything about the like blocking of that scene was strange because Mila Kunis comes over to his table to have a conversation, and then that ends. And then the immediate next thing that happens is he just leaves his table to go talk to her at their dinner table. And I'm like, that's not how you do this. That's not how you do anything. This is just it's not interesting.
Yeah.
You don't want to rewrite
one scene. Why did we split this up? Yeah.
It's not great.
It's clunky. It's written clunkily. It's blocked clunkily. Yeah, it's just it's bad. So but it doesn't amount to anything. They all just leave the restaurant anyway, and nothing happens. The therapist comes back to his apartment to find it like ramshackled, basically, and he goes to the cops to file a missing persons report on Shatner, but he only to find that Shatner's wife has already done the same. And then you guys might have to help me with this one. He finds out that Rachel Newman had a missing persons report filed against her, but the cops found Kunis claiming to be Newman and dropped it. So she murdered a woman named Rachel Newman. Oh, okay.
Yes,
maybe you guys don't have to help me with this at all. It's just
you got
there. That was it. That was correct. Yeah. You just had to, we're like, is it this dumb? Is this what they actually did?
Is that it? Are the cops this useless? I guess
because
so.
then they're also in that same scene. They're like, oh yeah, there's been like 3 other missing persons reports this semester too. Just students are just dropping like flies and we can't find them. I don't even know if we looked. They're just gone.
Everybody here wants to be in the FBI. Why is nobody investigating this?
That would be great if somebody, like a student, solved the case and then they got to become the TA for whoever replaced Shatner, because that's all that matters to these people.
It becomes like an assignment, like a murder mystery. Like, my TA was killed, and whoever discovers the killer gets to be my next TA.
That's way better. That's a much funnier premise.
That would be awesome. It would be like Clue, kind of.
Yeah, it'd be like Clue.
And then they're not dead at the end. Like, it's a whole thing where it's just about teaching them like criminology. That'd be good.
But then it turns into an actual murder. And then the Mentalist shows up. This is just an episode of the Mentalist.
And he's like, this looks like a job for Dexter. And then they're like, wait, what?
And they're like, hang on, no, we got enough guys.
Let me call my friend Monk on the phone. And then he's just clearly not on the phone.
The ultimate
buddy,
crossover.
We got to stop the condom killer. It's like an Avengers team up.
Yeah. Then that,
oh my God.
The only thing left, I think, is our thrilling finale, in quotes, which is just a car chase between
the police. Just the police, right? It's just the cops.
Just the cops, yeah.
She's absconding. She pulls over to knock some of them off her scent, but they find her, and the car goes off a river. The Hal Shatner goes out the window. The car goes off a cliff and crashes. And news reports cover the story. And 2 years later, the therapist from the story is lecturing at Quantico about Rachel Newman. He ends his lecture and starts signing books that he's written about the whole thing. And Kunis walks up to him and says, "Sign mine, Elizabeth McGuire," and then walks away. And somebody's like, "She's the first student to be drafted in the bureau her sophomore year of college. She's something special." And the movie ends.
Movie's over. The guy does not chase after her. He's just like, she got me fair and square. I guess she gets to go.
Yeah, checkmate.
She walks out. It plays Moby like the end of Born Identity. Also, that scene where like the car, where again they don't show you how she did it. She presumably like tuck and rolled out of the car or something.
I know.
Have you guys seen Disclosure Day? There's a very similar scene in Disclosure Day where, and in that movie they show you, Spielberg, he's made a couple movies before, so he's like, I have an idea. What if we show the audience what's happening in this movie?
The Spielberg was actually inspired by American Psycho 2, All American Girl, to put the car chase fake out in Disclosure Day, actually.
Yeah, that's what he said in interviews, actually. He was like, American Psycho 2 is the best movie. Also, the All American Girl subtitle, that's a really long title for this movie, having that subtitle.
Two Americans in the title.
Yeah. I'm like, that seems unnecessary. I don't know if we were saying this while we were recording. It's either the number 2 or Roman numeral 2, depending on where you find the movie.
Yep.
So they couldn't lock that in either. Also, that title just makes me think of like American Girl dolls. I was like, did they have something to do? We were sponsored by Durex and American Girl dolls. Is that the like crossover branding?
Yeah, they needed like Tom Petty's American Girl to play over like the car crash scene. Like the camera just like cranes up and, well, it was kind of cold that night. Like that's what we're missing. Good. Like there's just some good Americana in this movie. But
yeah,
she is wearing an American flag shirt in the beginning, Jeff. So
that's true.
How do you even remember that, man?
I remember that because it's relevant for the S. Darko conversation.
Okay.
Oh, okay, good. I like that Jeff was like mad about that.
Yeah, what the hell?
He's like, how dare you?
I was like, oh, she is an all-American girl. She's wearing the Star-Spangled Banner right now.
Well, I take it all back then. Yeah. I mean...
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
I will say, Tristan, that felt like a really good segue into what we have coming up after the break. Is there any closing thoughts about American Psycho 2, Roman numerals 2, All American 2, that other than that it's bad?
I've just been thinking of other ways you could kill somebody with a condom. I remember in my health ed class, our teacher, she like demonstrated putting like a whole condom like on her head. And I was like, what? You could do that. You could. Yeah, she was I don't remember. She was trying to make some kind of point where she was like, if it fits on my head, it can fit on yours. She was trying to show how like elastic condoms were. And she put one like on her cranium. And I was like, she could have like put a condom over somebody's whole head and like strangled them with it. Like that way. That would have been another way to,
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll write that movie. We'll write a different movie.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing other than like, if they asked her where she was during the murder, she could say, I was returning some library books. Like that's the only thing I got. Yeah.
Chills. Actual chills.
Yeah, chills. Mila Kunis's best role.
All right. Well, that's it. That's American Psycho 2. We're going to transition into our intermission. And after the break, Tristan and I are going to lead us through a discussion on the Donnie Darko sequel that was, for some reason, S. Darko. So stay tuned. All right, back after our intermission. Tristan, it is now up to us to guide the people through 2009's S. Darko, which I will say, probably harder to recap the actual plot of the movie than it was with that first one.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jeff took such extensive notes, and we were all very thankful for him doing that. And I was thinking, they have such a hard task, explaining the plot of American Psycho 2. Because, Frank, you just said off air that it was basically just Mila Kunis shows up to a college, kills a bunch of people, and that's the end of the movie. But yeah, S. Darko, Thomas, is for us to talk about.
It's such a mess. All I want to say about S. Darko is how much I liked rewatching Donnie Darko.
Yes.
I hadn't seen that movie in a really long time. And I was like, Donnie Darko's great. They had something here. Has a good like emotional logic behind all of the weird, like surreal stuff. And then I know that Donnie Darko also, if you look into like deleted scenes and like different cuts of the movie, gets very literal with its like science fiction-y lore and stuff. And the main thing I think about S. Darko is that the guy who made this one really cared about that lore, because it feels like someone who looked at every piece of info that you could gather about a movie that is largely metaphorical and was like, but what if we literalized the whole thing and just did it again?
It almost feels like an adaptation of the like philosophy of time book that gets brought up in the first one, which is just like a thing off to the side in the first movie. It's not like the main deal. But then S. Darko or Starko, if you prefer,
is Darko.
Is Darko is just like very much like wrapped up in the obscure and complex lore, and it's all the worse for it.
It is. It's not like everything that works about Donnie Darko works better if you don't try to like understand at a plot level. It works as a character narrative about like a very troubled teenager who has really unable to cope with like oversimplified explanations from the adults in his life about like how life and death even works. Like so much of Donnie Darko is him being confronted with like, it's a coming of age thing. Like he's being confronted with the fact that religion doesn't really follow for him. And there's all these other things that are being used as like guiding forces in his life. And he just keeps saying stuff to people about how like, it's not that simple. None of this makes any sense. And that's part of what, if you take it all as metaphor, is kind of like driving his psychosis, is that he just can't cope with like his ascent into being an adult. And then again, S. Darko's like, yeah, but did you see those deleted scenes? Like, that's crazy, right? And it completely nosedives into specificity, which is like the worst way to handle a very ambiguous story.
Well, it's kind of like you said about American Psycho, too. I think both of these sequels took the original films as literal.
Yeah.
And then, like, canonized that. It's like, yeah, this all actually happened the way you saw it on screen. And then we're going to do the same thing in the sequel.
Multiple times in the sequel. We just are like, how many Donnie Darko loops can we fit inside S. Darko before the runtime is up? Because it's like, I mean, maybe the only interesting thing is we do get a carryover actor. We get the youngest sister of Donnie Darko, which, I mean, this came out of nowhere for us this week. We were all set to record this, and then the actor who played Samantha Darko, which is, I'm trying to think of the pronunciation, I think it's DeVay Chase, passed away very suddenly and very young just this week, which was crazy. Like, because it was just odd. Like, this movie didn't mean anything to any of us going in, but then I watched it after seeing that news, and I was just like, well, that's sad. That adds like an extra layer of kind of, I don't know, like a melancholy underneath a movie that itself is very much about like life and death already.
Yeah. She also, just as a quick aside, had a very understated career. Once I heard the news about her passing, I looked up other projects she'd been involved in, and she's had some iconic roles. She's not like a household name you would know, but I mean, she had some iconic voice roles. She was the voice of Lilo in Lilo and Stitch. She was the main character in, I think it was Spirited Away.
The English
Miyazaki film. And she was the actress from The Ring.
The creepy
girl. The girl on the TV.
Yeah.
What a great career. It's like you get to play these iconic roles, but you kind of don't, I don't think she had all of that, like, I don't know, not to project too much onto her life, but, she wasn't, like I said, she wasn't like a household name. So I thought that was really cool to see that she had been involved in so many cool projects like that in a big way.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, the circumstances surrounding her passing in her life, I think, are all very sad, and I think she had an unfortunate last couple of years of her life, none of which is for us to get into, but I was very happy to see and kind of take notice of like, wow, this is a very like accomplished actor, because she does well in Donnie Darko. She does serviceably fine in S. Darko, which obviously is just because the movie is kind of a mess. It's through no fault of hers, really. I mean, I think without her presence, it gets even worse, because at least you have like a tether to the emotions of the original story. Also, I will say as an aside, someone involved in the animation behind Lilo and Stitch made like a drawing on social media that was just Stitch being sad. And I was like, don't hit me with this. This
Chris
is so
Sanders.
upsetting.
Yeah, he was like, he was one of the directors. He definitely was very close with her as when she was a kid recording those lines. So it hits. It really hits. I was watching the movie when one of you two messaged in our Discord about it. It was like such a surreal. I've never been watching a movie only to learn while I'm watching it that the lead has passed. Like it's surreal, truly.
It is. Yeah, and it really added. I don't know. I felt so much more sympathetic to S. Darko while watching it than American Psycho 2. American Psycho 2 is like a grift, you know? They just like slapped a name on it. They paid William Shatner for 2 days and said he would get to sleep with a bunch of college-age girls in the story, and he was like, love that for me.
I'm glad you added in the story.
In the story. Shatner,
that wasn't in his contract.
Whereas S. Darko is like very messy, and I didn't enjoy it for what it was, but it was an earnest attempt from someone who clearly just really liked the original movie.
Yeah. It's too weird and like experimental for it to be a grift. Like it feels like it was definitely constructed to be the way it is. Like this kind of time loop within a time loop thing. I was kind of getting like Tenet vibes a little bit from it. Like who is it? Like Fleur Delacour in Tenet, who she's like, you don't think about it, just feel it.
Is it Fleur Delacour, her Harry Potter name?
I can only think of her as Fleur Delacour.
You know when the girl from that other wizard school shows up in Tenet? No, you're right. Yeah, it gives Tenet or it gives Inception. So it's basically just Christopher Nolan movies.
I was also thinking a little Majora's Mask. I don't know if anybody got that too, but like the whole impending doom, and then it's like on a repeating cycle.
Yeah,
that was. So I don't know.
Like the uncanny vibes too, like the surreal of it all. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. It's a very strange movie. Jeff and I talked about The Room recently on our show, and we talked about how it's very odd for it to be like a drama movie that's so bad it's good. Like most so bad they're good movies are like genre films. They're like horror or something like that. And Darko is more like I don't know. It's like sci-fi, horror, drama. Like it really bends a lot of genres together. So it just feels like an experiment that doesn't quite land. But Thomas, I agree with you. I was feeling way more like sympathetic and kind of like tender toward it because I was like, here's this actress, who just passed. But also you can tell that she, or at least the director, really had a vision for this character. Who's like, if you remember Donnie Darko, if you haven't seen it in a long time, she's the little girl at the beginning who asks, "What's a f*** ass?" Which is an amazing line. She's also the little girl who's in the Sparkle Motion dance troupe. Yeah, which we get a little flashback to that during S. Darko.
Yeah, it is interesting too. I know that I was trying to read trivia for this one, of which again, there's not much. And supposedly, like, they tried to get other people involved. Like, they asked Maggie Gyllenhaal if she wanted to be in it, and she said no. There's a thing on there completely unsubstantiated on IMDb that Patrick Swayze was going to come back for this sequel, and then just couldn't because he was too sick at the time. And I was like, why on earth would we bring back Patrick Swayze's character in the second one in a different state?
Like, how would that have been relevant?
Exactly.
To this story.
He would be like a felon, right? Like he was arrested in Donnie Darko.
He was, but then it gets rewound, so I don't know if the same thing happens.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
That happens in both movies, much, much worse in S. Darko in terms of like plot threads that get wound back to one. So basic plot-wise. This is hard to summarize. In Donnie Darko, Donnie is sleepwalking and having visions from a giant bunny rabbit who keeps telling him that the world is going to end, and there's this bizarre time travel, self-fulfilling prophecy situation where all these things go wrong because Donnie Darko is still alive and evaded death. And according to the nonsense lore, basically created like a tangent universe or something. And he has to resolve all that at the end, spoilers, by placing himself in the situation where he would die in the original part of the timeline. And then it just cuts off everything that happened. Like 80% of the movie gets undone by those events. S. Darko is just, what if we take his little sister, we put her somewhere else, again with no budget and no characters, and just do that again, but twice. And like that's their only idea. It's like, what if we have her be the common thread, but it's two other characters experiencing a Donnie Darko time loop and ultimately reaching the exact same conclusion?
Yeah. Well, she sort of functions as the Donnie Darko character, but also functions as the Frank character for somebody else. So there's
Yes.
like this weird crossover between like the roles you can fill in these tangent universes. Yeah, but it's like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, what does it amount to? I'm not really sure.
I don't know. I don't know what the significance is. Because again, if the person behind this one cared so much about the lore, I feel like they would grasp that Donnie Darko is not a person of significance, broadly speaking. They were just, via the terminology in the book, they were like the conduit or something, just someone
Yeah.
put in a position to fix the timeline. Because if Donnie Darko hadn't done it, the whole reality would collapse. Like, you have to finish the loop, or else the world does end.
Well, Donnie Darko, like, it takes place in like a post Reagan America. It's like late 80s. And so it's very much dealing with like the, you know, the suburb ennui and all that stuff. And Donnie is like pointedly very cynical, and he gets into arguments with his teachers, like his religious, like Jesus freak teacher and all this stuff. And so you kind of get the impression it's like a part of America had to die in order for us to progress to where we were in 2001 when Richard Kelly made the film. He was like, this is what we've lost since the 80s, basically. So it makes sense to me, like, even though he's not like a significant person technically, like he represents something in that film. And so then you look at Samantha Darko's character in Starko, and you're like, is she, I guess she sort of represents like the trauma of losing the like the skepticism toward America, and like the, I don't know, the counterculture that like Donnie Darko himself represented. I don't know. This movie takes place in the mid 90s, but it is very like 2000s coded. Like everybody looks like they're from the 2000s.
There's nothing
They don't
90s
really
in it, yeah.
Yeah, they don't make it look like a period film at all. But it is like, they talk about there's a character in this called Iraq Jack. So it was a guy who went to
Yes.
Iraq. He came back from Iraq, which to me reads as like post 9/11, even though this takes place in like 95. Were we in Iraq before 9/11? Does anybody know? Can anybody tell me?
History. Probably.
Okay, probably.
We're
yeah.
everywhere.
Because the cop guy mentions, I think it's Project Desert Storm.
Desert Storm.
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
gotcha.
Pre 9/11, but still, is that like the Gulf War? I don't know.
It's like evoking the 9/11 vibes a little bit, where it's just like,
Yeah.
because like Donnie Darko comes out in 2001, like I think a month after 9/11, and the movie, like, they really had to like tamp down on the marketing because it featured like a crashing jet and everything.
Yep.
They didn't want to like rock the boat too much. So that's like part of the reason the movie didn't do too well at the box office and became like a cult film. And this film really does feel like it's like a post 9/11 Donnie Darko in a way, which has a weird forlorn, like they're out in the desert now instead of like the Virginia suburbs. Like it feels very like this used to represent the boundless potential of America, the West and all this stuff. But now it's just like we're in Radiator Springs, like from Cars, basically, like
Yep.
just like a ghost town.
This, dude, I was so curious after I watched S. Darko, the kind of person who would take this film and just eat it up for everything that it's worth. Like, who would give this film like 5 stars? And how different would they be from the person who would give American Psycho 2 5 stars? Because those are two very different types of people. And I actually looked on Letterboxd for positive reviews of S. Darko, and I found one that was like, actually I have it pulled up because it says like, this is from a reviewer, Emma Chantiri. She says, "We see a world that's broken on its last legs. It has surrendered itself to numbness, and no one can seem to reach any sort of salvation. It's truly the social and political anxiety of Southland tales being translated into a world of falsehoods, where characters all talk like strangers, aliens aren't in space, they're here on Earth, amongst the party-fueled twilight year of not just 1995, but also 2009. Samantha, after many years of festering in apathy, of having her parents neglect and ignore her, has had enough, so she warps the many facets of her being, reveling in contradictions while the many familiar beats of the original Darko are bastardized. It's retaliation." And this is a 4.5-star review. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't look up
4.5. She didn't give it that last half star.
Yeah, no, it's not quite there. It's like what's holding it back for you when nothing else that was holding it back for me clearly matters. Like,
I think that's a really interesting reading. No, it feels really weird. Like this, like Radiator Springs, like it just feels like this weird place out of time. You have like a James Dean character in this film who's like he doesn't belong in this film. You have like Iraq Jack is like obviously like an Iraq War veteran or Gulf War veteran, but like he's really coded like a Vietnam War veteran. So it's like all these like eras of American history have all culminated in this like one ghost town. You have like a pedophilic like pastor character mimicking like the old again, but like also like when you're introduced to him, he seems like way less off-putting because he's like butting heads with Corey, who's Samantha's best friend, and she comes out looking like more unreasonable than he does, and by the end of the film you find out he's like a pedophile. So it's like it feels like it's like why are we having
a sympathetic edge to the pedophile? Yeah,
exactly. And it's like the glasses should have given it away. I should have known when they introduced him.
Also, he hangs out with Elizabeth Berkley.
Yes,
like I did not expect of all the actors to show up who were not in the previous film to give some star power. It's like, what about Jessie from Saved by the Bell? And I was like, okay, I don't know why this happened or why her character exists. She's in like 3 scenes. She overacts through all of them.
Yep,
and has no consequence on the plot because her entire focus in the story is the same as the pastor. Like at a plot level, they introduce an element that like ties her to him and him to the disappearing children. But it's like if you pluck her out of the story, like nothing changes.
Nothing changes. I think she's supposed to be like the teacher analog from the first one, like the really reverent teacher, the fanatic for Patrick Swayze. But she never serves that function really in the story. She does have one of the best lines in the film though, where she's like, "This town used to be great, and then they ruined it with drugs and quote anus sex."
Yeah. She takes a beat. She takes a long pause in between those two, drugs and the anus sex.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah. Like, I mean, admittedly, I wouldn't take her out of the movie because those interactions are funny. Although that scene, again, just talking about like basic filmmaking and Darko, that scene where they have that interaction is her talking to Sam Darko. And they're in what you eventually find out is like a savings and loan or something because she's trying to get money. But the scene just opens and they're in a building. There's no establishing shot. And we have like a solid 90 seconds of dialogue with those two and then some other characters. And the whole time I'm like, where are we? Where is this scene? Why did it begin? Like, why does she want to go talk to Elizabeth Berkley? Like, there's just stuff like that all throughout this, like fundamental storytelling mishaps where it's like, what is going on?
I will say one thing. I saw Donnie Darko when I was like a sophomore in college. It's been like 8 years since I saw it. I liked the movie. I remember almost nothing of it before I rewatched it this past week. I remember being like kind of confused by it. I found it disorienting and all that sort of thing. It's not like a non-linear film, but it does jump around in time a lot. And I think to the point where they actually like somebody, I don't know if it was like a producer or like an editor, was like, Richard Kelly, we should put in like time cards in the narrative so people know how close we're getting to Doomsday. Rewatching the film, I wasn't as confused by it. I think partly because the time cards help anchor it. In this film, I think it's trying to go for like a similar sort of disorienting feel where it's like, okay, now we're suddenly in the savings and loans. Now we're suddenly in like a grocery store or whatever. It just feels like you're, I don't know, drifting through the film, which I think is, I think that's the intent. I don't think it works as well as it does in Donnie Darko, but then again, I think that's the whole thing. That's the whole just story of this film. Nothing works as well as in Donnie Darko, except for maybe the visual effects. Because I will say, I think the weird little like gooey stuff that comes out of people's chests, the stuff from the abyss I think it looks actually a little bit better than it does in Donnie Darko.
It does, but there's also multiple scenes in S. Darko that are like, they try to do backgrounds of like the night sky or like a comet crashing or something, and some of those scenes look horrible. Like, Sam Darko appears as like a force ghost for Iraq Jack on top of a windmill, and there's like a storm surging around them, and it's supposed to be very supernatural, and that looks horrendous because they just aimed it a little bit too big for like what they could depict. Also, really quickly circling back, I love that Letterboxd review, in tackling a movie that just has bad dialogue, tried to spin it as like people talk like they're strangers. I'm like, man, we could describe the whole movie that way. Just, like, they pass through each other as if they don't know their lines in the movie. Like,
as if they never rehearsed.
Yeah.
I just want to say, in comparison, I did pull up some 5-star reviews from American Psycho 2, and they say things like "girl boss," or "we love to see a woman in STEM," or "people hate to see a bad bitch thriving." So that's like
that was me. I left that.
Oh
one.
yeah, it does. Yeah. It's the Meet Your Double Feature account.
Meet Your Double Feature account. Yeah, I leave that same comment on a lot of movies.
Yeah, we should just make our review for that movie the exact same thing, just verbatim. Just quote that.
Link in the description.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I'm trying to think where to go with the S. Darko thing, because Jeff gave us a great plot summary of American Psycho 2. S. Darko doesn't really need one. I mean, have one.
I wrote one until I had to walk away from the movie, but I don't know. Like, it's literally things like they get a room. F sees that a little boy is missing. It's 1995. She reaches into her TV and pulls out a feather.
Yep.
A meteor strikes the windmill.
It's just things happen, and I will echo what Tristan said, that a lot of it is probably intentional, but still poorly executed. Like, there's things you could do to create disorientation. Like, in Donnie Darko, at least, it feels like you're jumping between scenes that kind of just pick up in the middle, and you can at least immediately start to place what they mean in context. S. Darko has stuff that just does not land, because, again, everyone talks like they're strangers. So it's just hard to tell, like, what people's motivations even are. I will say also, I'm just thinking of random notes in the movie, the motel they stay in the lobby, there's a poster on the wall for Macross, which is an anime. And I was like, why is this in here? Like, that really struck me. I was just like, why is this on the wall? What set designer was looking at this, like, podunk Radiator Springs town? And it was like, yeah, but do you think they're cool? Do you think they've seen, like, Macross?
I think that's what makes you cool, is if you've seen Macross.
Yeah. Oh, and also
maybe it's
relevant.
Maybe it's the plot. I don't know what the plot of that anime. Maybe it's a similar.
That's where I was going, actually. I don't know for that one. I just know the name. But there is in both Donnie Darko and S. Darko, the characters go to a movie that's playing a double feature, which I thought was funny.
Represent.
Represent. Woo, woo, woo. In Donnie Darko, they go. This one doesn't even really make sense. They go to a movie theater, and there's a thing on the marquee that says, like, Halloween Spooktacular, because it's almost Halloween. And we see that the movie they're actually watching is Evil Dead. I'm like, okay, Halloween Spooktacular, Evil Dead. I know they got the rights from Sam Raimi. It was a whole thing. But then when Donnie Darko is leaving the movie theater to go burn down Patrick Swayze's house, the other half of that double bill is The Last Temptation of Christ. And I was like, wait a minute. What about this is a Halloween film?
Wait a minute. I guess the real fear was sin the whole time.
Yeah. So that was weird. And then to your point, Frank, in terms of having plot similarities, the double bill in S. Darko is Strange Days and 12 Monkeys. And I know 12 Monkeys is a time loop movie. I don't remember what Strange Days is, but probably.
Probably, yeah. I like when bad movies are just like, look at this better movie that's similar. Just go watch this instead.
Yeah.
And that's the scene where they put up the clip from Donnie Darko of the Sparkle Motion Dance Group. And it's like, oh no, the other film I should watch instead.
A real movie.
You can, there's the what's the book in Donnie Darko? Something about time travel.
Philosophy of Time Travel.
Philosophy of Time Travel. This movie introduces the book Jesusonomy, which is and there's a whole like religious subplot to it as well. And so I guess you get into like the science fiction of the end of the world in Donnie Darko. You get into more of like a book of revelations into the world, but not really, because there's also a character who's like, I just want to study the meteor. The meteor gave me a rash. The meteor's going to make me kill you now. It's like it's like a bunch of plot tangents. Pastor is a serial killer. A little boy is trapped in a well somewhere. It's like
that narrative that part of the movie actually confused me, if I'm being
honest. The kid?
I was maybe I was like, it's like, who's killing these kids? I don't know, like, why. Maybe I was too many screens deep at that point.
I got my phone here and my tablet in front of me.
Yeah. But like by the end of the movie, I was like, I still don't know. I think who killed those kids, and I don't know if it matters at this point.
I teased that a bit earlier because Donnie Darko does have a couple things where by undoing the events of the movie and resetting it back to one, but with Donnie Darko dying, you technically do prevent him from uncovering that Patrick Swayze is like a pedophile. But in this movie, Sam Darko uncovers where all those missing children went and very heavily implies that it was once again the evil pastor and Elizabeth Berkley. And then in the final montage, which is just like trying to rip off the Mad World thing from the end of Donnie Darko, we just see one of those kids just still starving in a mine shaft. And I was like, we can't linger on this. This is too sad. Like nothing, those kids are dead and no one's going to stop the people doing it. Isn't this
That's
the
why I
bad
was
ending?
confused. Yeah, I was just like, what? Yeah. Did we get the bad ending of the video game? Like, how do we... how do we fix this?
Go back in time once, shame on me, all right? Go back in time twice, shame on you. And then when you do it a third time, I'm getting really pissed off because like I just watched 3 movies and again, hey, it's like Clue. It's like all the endings there.
Yeah, multiple endings.
I just like what it's like. Samantha decides that she doesn't like the movie and she leaves and she doesn't wait for anything to be resolved and she's not like an active character in the end. She doesn't decide to contribute to bringing anybody to justice. She's just kind of like, I think I'm going to go home to Virginia where it sucks. And I don't know. It ends with a question mark, but the whole thing is a question mark. So, I guess it's consistent in that way, right?
Yeah. Also, the bunny imagery keeps coming back. Like, we have Iraq Jack create Frank's bunny mask from Donnie Darko, which I understand is like iconography for the movie. But part of the point in Donnie Darko is that the mask is like meaningless. Like, the character who dons it that he runs into at the end is, in the real context of the world, a random person who just becomes part of this like prophesized end of the world story. So it like has significance because Donnie draws it a lot. And then we even see that the character Frank has been drawing it and having like maybe having his own visions or something. But ultimately, that's not like the sign of the time travel technology. Like it. So the fact that they brought it back so heavily in S. Darko felt like odd. Like it didn't really seem to actually gel with this new story.
That's the most like grifty part of the movie. I feel like it's like that iconography that they can cash in on. It's like everybody remembers Frank. Everybody remembers the creepy looking bunny.
Yeah.
So they bring it back. But it doesn't fit. I wish they hadn't put that in the film. I think it's like the one part of the film where I'm like, this just feels, well, I can't say that's the only part that feels cheap, but it's the cheapest part of the film, like in terms of like, it really doesn't need to be there, It's just some way to connect it. It almost feels like from a marketing perspective. Someone was like, we got to sell more Donnie Darko toys. You got to put the bunny rabbit in S. Darko.
You gotta have karate chopping action, Frank the Rabbit.
Yeah.
Isn't the one guy, he's like, in that ending montage, he's like making the bunny in, like, out of the peas on his plate, like when he's in the diner.
He's making it out of the weirdest combination. It's like a donut and carrots. I was like, why did you even have those two things? Like,
to make the bunny.
Make me feel less guilty about the donut I'm having this afternoon.
That was the other thing, actor-wise, in the movie, is that this whole thing is a who's who of, like, CW teen dramas, because the crazy guy with the rash is from Twilight. He's like a minor character in Twilight.
Jackson.
That's right.
Jackson Rathbone.
Jackson Rathbone's here, doing nothing. The 1950s guy is from Gossip Girl. At least one other person. I think Iraq Jack was in One Tree Hill. So it's very like Riverdale Donnie Darko kind of energy to the whole story. Which I think is just because Twilight was popular at the time and those shows were popular. So they were like, this is audience crossover, I guess.
Remember the scene where he headbutts that guy and knocks him unconscious, and then there's no follow-up to that at all?
Yeah, it was cool.
If you look up on YouTube, if you look up S. Darko on YouTube, that's like one of the first videos that pops up. It's like the only reason to watch S. Darko. I think that's the title of the video. It's like a 6-second clip of him headbutting that guy, which I did rewatch like 3 times.
Yeah, well, because I feel like we see that guy again in like the next scene, and he's not injured or makes no mention of the fact that other guy just headbutted him and left him lying in the street. I just don't even really know why it happened. I was like, okay,
he gets over it.
Thanks.
He moves on. Yeah, that's like his whole, that's Randy. That's our 50s greaser guy. His whole trajectory as the movie goes on becomes, I think, unintentionally funny. Like his car gets totaled, and that's like one of the time loop things that we have to ensure happens because it has to kill Sam's friend Corey. And then afterwards, both in the messed up timeline and the real one, he's just on like a dinky little bicycle and working at the grocery store. And I was like, why did we have to kill this man's aura like this? It's so rude.
He's just objectively just worse off in every way by the end of this movie.
And then he gets headbutted onto the floor. Like, and like you said, Frank, he just has to ignore it. He should have like a giant welt on his head in the diner scene that followed.
Comically large, like purple and
pulsing. It's like multiple stacked on top of each other like a cartoon. And she's just like, what happened to you?
X-cross Band-Aid. Yeah.
And he's just like, I want to talk about it.
Yeah. I wrote down a question for you guys. It pertains to both of these movies. Just a personal preference thing here. Because both of these are sequels that don't include the main character from the original. And I was curious which one of these you would rather watch sitting next to the lead actor from the predecessor. So watch American Psycho 2 with Christian Bale or watch Darko with Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's a good question.
That's so interesting. I've seen an interview with Christian Bale talking about like how he got the role for American Psycho. And it was something along the lines of like they told him like possibly multiple times that they weren't going to go with him. And then he was convinced that he was still going to get the role. And through some circumstance, he did. So, like, he kept rehearsing or practicing for the character, even though they'd already told him he wasn't going to get it. And I'm like, that's weird. You're really weird, Christian Bale. And I like Jake Gyllenhaal a lot. So I think I would hang out with Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's fair.
I think Jake Gyllenhaal would be nice about it. I think Christian Bale, we'd run the risk of him like falling back into that rant at the lighting guy from that one movie he was on.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, we are done professionally. Like just screaming.
You're a nice guy, but we're done professionally. I need to go back and listen to that rant actually, because I heard that before I started working in production, and I'm like thinking about the context of it, because it was something like the guy was like moving a light like while they were rolling or something. And I'm like, I guess you don't do that. That's not something you should normally be doing. I don't think, it's not that serious. It didn't warrant that kind of freak out. But also, yeah.
Well, it depends. What was the scene also? Like if Christian Bale had to get into character for a very intense emotional scene.
Right, no, yeah.
And then he just kind of like snapped it at the guy. Like obviously that's still bad self-control, but it would make a little bit more sense. And he does apologize by the end. Or I don't know if he apologizes, but he calms down.
Wasn't it like a...
He tries to walk it back.
Yeah, no, it was like a Terminator movie or something, wasn't it? Was he in a Terminator movie?
I think it was
in the third one.
Oh my God, I think it was that. I'm pretty sure it was that.
Okay, now it's
just play the whole clip right now, Thomas.
Play the whole clip. We'll play Terminator 4 because we need the context.
Play Terminator 4, then play that, and then
play the headbutt clip periodically.
Well, just
just
imagine
mix that in there.
The legendary rant you would get from Christian Bale watching American Psycho 2.
That's why I'm going with Christian Bale.
You're going with Christian
Bale? It's not
Bale?
my fault the movie's bad. Like he wouldn't yell at me necessarily.
But
he
you're
might yell
there
in my direction.
though. We do know he has a lot of misplaced emotions, so he might blame you.
Be like, and I'll blame you for inviting me to this movie. And I'll be like, Mr. Bale, I didn't.
Mr. Bale, I didn't know you were Australian. I'm so sorry. I've only seen Batman.
Gotta stop the jokers, and they're like, that's not.
Well,
it's only one.
Apparently, Richard Kelly well, he hasn't seen Darko, but he hates when people ask him about it because he's like, I'm not going to watch that movie. I had nothing to do with it. Don't ask me about it. I have nothing to say about it. So you get this sense that he's like pretty pissed off about it, but just trying not to be. Jury's out on Jake Gyllenhaal, but the mere existence of both of these movies is enough to be a trigger for some people, which is fascinating.
They're both like I would say much more, and we'll get into our wrap up with some of this, but I would say American Psycho 2 is a little bit more sacrilegious to its source material than Darko. Darko's trying. It's just trying in the most like vaguely amateur way. I'm trying to think if there's any particular. There's one shot in Darko that I liked where this is after in the middle where Sam Darko is dead and Corey is bonding with Gossip Girl guy Randy on his bicycle. And they do an extended sequence where they're having a conversation while she's riding on the front of his little bicycle instead of the back. Because he doesn't have pegs, I guess.
He had pegs on the front.
Oh, he had pegs on the front. That's why. She wasn't just like slipping off the entire time, like, ah, Randy.
She's trying to keep up with him. She's running next to the bike.
I liked that shot because it was somewhat dynamic for a dialogue scene, and it was one of the more like complicated things the movie attempted. I also liked when Sam Darko falls into a swimming pool and it starts playing the Minecraft background music for a minute. I was like, did you guys hear that? Was that not like the Minecraft startup music?
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think S. Darko. I mean, should we move into the wrap up here?
Well,
what do you think?
let me see. Tristan, we're in charge of this half of the show. So did you have anything
right.
else on
Sorry, I was
Starko?
overstepping. I'll go.
Before Frank ruins it.
I wrote here, how does he know there's a metal in the meteorite that isn't on the periodic table? Do you guys remember that, Jeremy? He gets obsessed with the metal in the meteorite, and that's what gives him a rash?
Gives him like anger issues and a rash. And then also he starts seeing things at the end that the movie says are tesseracts.
Yeah.
Which is like Avengers.
Yeah, I caught that.
Do we need to bring the Mentalist and Monk back in here and get our Avengers team on this case?
Yes, you do.
But they also imply that he's the only one who could see them. Because he's like talking to Sam Darko and he's like, don't you see the meteors? And she's like, no. But then other people see the meteors, so it's very confusing.
The movie did have an element of, like, even right up to the end, a lot of these characters' plot lines were very unclear in a way that I think was trying to keep it interesting. Especially his character. I was like, I don't know what's going on with this guy. What's happening here? He's got a rash. He's headbutting people. Like, why is this happening?
Yeah, I don't mind like an anticlimax with a subplot, but these subplots don't interconnect at all. They're just like when you put two characters in a scene like that, yeah, you'll get like the headbutt scene that doesn't have any consequence whatsoever. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't last. It's
nothing
6
builds.
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, like nothing builds on top of a previous scene other than, again, we talked recently about a movie that felt like a video game. This feels like a video game in the sense that you can only progress individual quest lines like one at a time. It's like, okay, I've done my second interaction with Jeremy Rashman, and then now I'm going to go do my Randy side quest, but they don't interact at all. Like they're just separate happenings.
It's just like all like, I don't know, vibes, like mood stuff, which... I don't know. You kind of have a little bit of that in Donnie Darko. You have like the Patrick Swayze stuff doesn't really connect to a lot of the stuff that's going on, but I don't know. I was thinking a little bit about Iraq Jack. Like he's eventually revealed to be Justin Sparrow, right? He's like the grandson of Roberta Sparrow, who wrote the Philosophy of Time Travel book. At some point, Samantha shows up to him as a Force ghost, like you were saying, Thomas, and says, "Go burn down the church." And he does. He burns down the church. And then later on in the film, Samantha comes to like the burnt out wreckage of the church and like sits in the pews. And there's like a cross that's made out of like a steel beam, which felt very... It wasn't that like a thing like after 9/11, someone like pulled out like a steel beam that looked like a cross. And that was like part of the memorializing.
Well, there's also the conspiracy theory about like it was all rigged.
Well, jet fuel.
Yeah, jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
I wrote here, jet fuel can't melt church beams. So I was definitely getting like again, like the 9/11 like thing that they're trying to go for here, I think, where it's just like you have like the victim of like us meddling in the Middle East and that leads to burning down a church. But then you find out that the church is run by a pedophile anyway. So it's like he had it coming. I don't know. It's a very confused film. You have all these separate plot lines, like you're saying, that don't really amount to much, but they're all like chaotic. You get a guy get headbutted, you get a guy get a rash and kill Samantha and all that stuff, and then they go back in time and all that stuff gets erased, but there's still kids trapped in mine shafts and there's like a pedophile on the run, and it's like, so it's like a film saying like you can go all these different routes and there's going to be good stuff and bad stuff, and it's like you got to make of it what you want, I guess.
Mostly bad stuff though.
Mostly
bad.
Not much good in there. That party looked fun, I guess. That maybe was one of the good ones.
They're playing Minecraft.
Hey, I'm glad you mentioned the party because Samantha is wearing an American flag towel after the party. She gets out of the pool. Yeah, she's wrapped up in an American flag like Mila Kunis in the beginning of American Psycho 2, All-American Girl.
Oh my goodness.
I guess Samantha Darko is sort of like an all-American girl too, if you think about it.
And that's why we picked these two movies to talk about.
We knew that. We knew that from the very beginning.
Yep. All right. I think that's a good closer.
That's great.
Good observation. So why don't we jump from this into scores and wrap. We're gonna do this. No cut. We're just moving straight in. Scores and wrap up.
Wow.
We're changing the formula, just
Okay.
like American Psycho 2.
Yeah, just like both movies, really.
Exactly. I'm trying to think, Frank, how we even do this, because normally
How we do our own show.
how we do our own program. Normally, you and I each rank the movie we were assigned to watch, but in this case, everybody has seen both films. So maybe we just do the hard ticket version. We just say which one we like better. Is that more interesting?
Yeah. So the question in Hard Ticket, obviously, at the core of the show, is you go to the movies to see a double feature, only to find that both movies are playing at the exact same time. So now you got a hard ticket to choose between the two. Which one are you going to watch? You know, parameters of the hypothetical scenario sometimes factor in, oh, we're at a movie theater. Which one of these two movies does that enhance, if at all, if either?
Yeah. And you're not allowed to go home. That's not an option. Like,
No.
You're stuck in that movie theater.
Yeah, it's a hostage situation. But hey, you can still get like popcorn and snow caps and whatever you want. So
Oh, that's true.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's. I guess order of operations wise, let's go with the order how we presented. So maybe Jeff and Frank, let's hear your picks, and then we'll do ours, and then we'll see if there's a winner? Question mark.
Whoever wins, we lose.
Yeah. All right. So Jeff, I'll start with you. Between these two, to fit within your own hard ticket premise, where are you heading off to with your snow caps?
No, that's appropriate. Tristan always starts with me on our show, so I get thrown
Perfect.
in the middle of it.
Mhm.
It's tough, man. It actually is tough because they're weirdly different. One is like a TV movie, and one is like just a shell. I mean, they're both shells of themselves in such different ways. I had a decent time watching American Psycho 2 with a friend and a couple beers. I watched S. Darko by myself, and I like had to walk away. Like I had to pause it and walk away. Like I was just like, oh God, 30 minutes left. Let's tap back in. The pacing is really, really tough in S. Darko. But I think I am gonna pick it. I think it is like a little more interesting. I liked that interpretation I found of it online. I think you can read into it. I don't know what else you can do with American Psycho 2. It's just such a paper thin premise that just doesn't do anything. I don't know. I can't justify it that much because it's like, like again, everybody loses, but the whole S. Darko thing, I don't know. If it's like splitting hairs anyway, I gotta salute it, I guess. I don't know. Frank, take it away.
Yeah, Frank, over to you.
If we're talking about going to see one of these movies in a movie theater, I can't imagine how bad American Psycho 2 would look on a theater screen. I feel like you would be able to just see like the lights in the background, like Christian Bale yelling at the lighting guy in the background, because it would just be so that movie looks so cheap. And I get S. Darko looks more cinematic. And I will say too, between the two of them, like we were calling American Psycho like a rug pull or a scam, and I think it is. I think it absolutely is. They didn't even set out to make an American Psycho 2. That's just what it wound up being because they thought it would sell better, I suppose. S. Darko feels like fan fiction for somebody who was a fan of the original Donnie Darko, and so I feel like I'll always take that over like corporate soullessness. You know, like they were trying something. It wasn't good. They didn't execute it well. They didn't have a lot of money to do it, but they did something. And to your point, Jeff, I can picture the person who would like that movie. I can picture the angsty teen that would get something out of, like, it just feels sad watching S. Darko alone in the dark. I can't picture the person that would love American Psycho 2. I don't think I want to meet that person, but
Girl boss.
Girl boss.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I think I would. Yeah, I think I'm going Sadarko.
Okay, 2 for Sadarko. At best, Tristan, we could force a tie if everyone goes against the movie that they took the lead on. But I'll leave it up to you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna force a tie because I'm also going Darko. I think, if you removed the American Psycho branding off of American Psycho 2, you deleted the Patrick Bateman thing from the beginning. You reworked the narration a little bit because you can tell they're trying to go for like a Patrick Bateman narration. I think it would just be like a forgettable, paper thin, like you're saying, kind of like Jennifer's Body thing, like before Jennifer's Body. People would just, oh, I'm 100%ing Mila Kunis's filmography, and I found the girl who wouldn't die or whatever it was supposed to be called. And I think it would just be a film that people would just be like, it's a curiosity. But you add all the American Psycho-ness to it, and it becomes like a soulless grift. And like, yeah, Jeff and I had some fun watching it and kind of making fun of it, but I was also like so bored, and I was like, this movie sucks. And I liked seeing William Shatner. Like, he was the shining star of the film, and I wish there was more of him. Darko, like I said, I think maybe going into it, I was maybe just a little bit more sympathetic as it was. I just watched Donnie Darko. I liked it. The lead actress passed away, so I was just kind of thinking about it in a different light. Definitely take more away from what Darko is trying to do. It is, I think, probably like technically a worse film in a lot of ways. Like, it's messier narratively, but it's got just more interesting stuff going on, I think. And I could see myself even rewatching it at some point, like far, far into the future, like 30 or maybe 60 years in the future. I might rewatch it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Set a reminder. Set a note.
Hey,
60 years from now, remind me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I will say, in a theater, I bet you could do some great audience rituals to both of these movies. Like, every time one of the weird things comes out of a chest in Darko, it's like you gotta take a drink or something like that. Like, and then American Psycho 2, it's like anytime she kills somebody, you kill somebody. I don't know. Put them out of their misery in the theater.
Kill the person to your right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, look to your left, now look to your right. Chances are one of these people has died trying to sit through American Psycho 2.
They give you like those goodie bags when you're going in, but it's just full of weapons. It's just got like knives and ice picks and everything. Yeah. Oh, man.
Condoms.
Condoms, yeah.
Lots of condoms.
Okay, so that's 3 for Darko. I would love to play for American Psycho 2 just to add some variety, but no way. I mean, Darko is a real effort at a sequel, and I feel like part of this season for Frank and I, we're trying to talk about like, what's the point of a movie sequel? Because so often they're completely unmotivated. Like, you're either making a sequel to a character or to a plot or to like a world, essentially. Like, there's like the 3 things you could carry over between movies and say that they're even remotely connected. American Psycho 2 arguably doesn't have any of those things. I know they technically say Patrick Bateman's in the movie, but he's not. It's not the same character, it's not the same story. So it's like so functionless, both as a piece of media by itself, because it's awful, and as a piece of a larger franchise, because it has no real connections. Like, I talked to, at least Jeff and Tristan I talked to about this, there's a different movie called Rules of Attraction, which is also set in a college. I think it might have come out the same year, but it's an adaptation of a different book by the same author that wrote American Psycho. And James Vanderbeek's character in Rules of Attraction, his last name is Bateman, and he's like actually Patrick Bateman's brother.
What?
So he referenced, yeah. So Frank, you wouldn't have heard this yet. So he even says at one point that he calls someone on the phone that he says is like his older brother Patrick. So it's not really tackling any of the same stuff, although the Vanderbeek character is kind of a psycho in his own way. So if you want a sequel to American Psycho, go watch Rules of Attraction. In the meantime, Darko, like, it's a bad effort, but it's an effort, and especially as of this week, has a sort of quality akin to like if you go back and watch The Crow, and you're like, well, I feel bad that the person in it, is no longer with us, but I respect their work. I would probably watch other DeVay Chase movies before I watched Darko again, but it at least adds a wrinkle to watching it even now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd see Lilo and Stitch or Lilo and Stitch 2. That probably is unnecessary, but I'd enjoy it much more than it just doesn't make sense to make an American Psycho movie, like a sequel. Like it doesn't. I can see a sequel to Donnie Darko exploring grief, exploring a shattered family afterwards. Like that makes sense. American Psycho, no, it kind of has a perfect ending. So leave it alone. Just
leave it
go
alone.
away.
Yeah,
that might be our thesis statement at the end of our sequel season is don't do that.
Just leave it alone.
Just leave it be. Yeah. We'll have to see if we can find any that are like worthy sequels. And I think some of these are acceptable sequels.
Mhm.
Like they don't really tarnish anything, and I see why they did it. We have yet to talk about one early on that is like a necessary sequel. And I'm curious if we'll find any.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you can find out every other week on Meet Your Double Feature. I guess we'll move into our closing. First off, Tristan and Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a blast having you on the show. Again, for fans of our show, please go check out Hard Ticket. We're going to have all their information in the description for this episode. If you want, you can start with the episode that Frank and I appeared on a few months back, or just check out their upcoming releases. Guys, back over to you. I know, Jeff, you told us the episode coming out tomorrow. Anything else on the horizon for Hard Ticket that you want folks to know about?
Oh, yeah. So this summer, we're actually going through a bunch of Spielberg movies. We're calling it Spielberg Summer. Very creative, I know.
Exciting.
We've covered Close Encounters. We paired that with Arrival. We did, to start it off, Saving Private Ryan up against the Thin Red Line. And we got a couple more of those coming out before the summer's over. We're doing those every other week because we are a weekly release, which kills us sometimes. But, you know, it's worth it for all you listeners out there. And I will say, what do we call it? The Poseidon Inferno. I think that's what we landed on. That was such a fun and great episode. We really enjoyed having you guys on there. So it's been a blast being on your show as well.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we will
Thank
definitely
you.
ask you back. We'll probably might even make our own appearance on Hard Ticket again.
Oh,
you
yes.
guys also have a Discord community that
Yes.
is already growing, which, Frank, you and I don't have that yet. So you can find us on the Hard Ticket Discord sometimes.
We'll be there.
Yeah, hop on. We love taking requests and everything too. We love talking to people who listen. It's
Yes,
a lot of fun.
we just sort of like slapped the name Hard Ticket onto something and said that it was our thing, even though it was clearly not related to us in the first place.
You made this? I made this.
This is mine now.
All right. And then again, as always, thank you for listening to Meet Your Double Feature. We'll be back in 2 weeks with our next standard episode, a matchup between Frank and myself talking about forgotten movie sequels. You can find more information on us, again, in the description. You can check us out online. MeetYourDoubleFeature.com has links to all of our info and our social media accounts. Give us a follow, give us a rating, and thanks so much for being with us. Frank is now going to close the show with his full thoughts about, what was you saying, Citizen Kane? How Citizen Kane is American Psycho 2?
Yeah. So what's up with that bird? Like, it's just...
What bird?
You don't call them birds anymore, Frank.
No. You know what I'm talking about. You talk about the bird. There's just that parrot that shows up in the middle and like it just squawks at you.
It wakes you up
And
if you were falling asleep.
It wakes you up. That's why he
Yeah.
put it in the movie. Yeah, it's just like I think that's actually why he said he put it in the movie. There's just like a random cutaway to like a parakeet or something that just makes like a loud squawk. And I think Orson Welles just said he thought people would be asleep and that was just going to wake them up.
It's beautiful.
I'm just going to fade out at some point in that conversation, and that's the end of the episode. Just a quiet
Okay.
fade on Citizen Kane.